I've got change for us all. Isn't it free stuff?
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
Right, legends, beautiful Friday, overcast here in South Africa, miserable weather, but I'm here, right? I want to go and lay on the couch and watch a movie, but the price looks very interesting here on Bitcoin at the moment. So welcome to another live stream. If you have not smashed that like button, yes, we got 15 likes before the live stream started. Absolutely amazing. So thanks for smashing up that like button. I really appreciate it. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. Are the bulls back, as per the thumbnail? Are the bulls back, right? We invalidated the scenario that we spoke about yesterday. Ooh. And now it looks like we're finding upwards momentum currently here to the upside, right? We were speaking about this little structure, okay? Just a little quick recap of what we spoke about yesterday. Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. Can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anymore, because I told everyone the invalidation is tapping the 0.618. Bam. So we invalidated this little bad boy to the downside. Then we had another scenario. Okay. Let's take this out. What if this is a ABC? Okay. We were looking at this scenario. A, B, C. Okay. And I said it looks like it still needs another low. But the market is never perfect, and it's always here to surprise us. Okay, you take a fib from this little pivot to the low, and I said if we tap the 0.618, we invalidate another 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you wanted the 4 to reject, and another 5 to the downside. Okay, so now the only scenario now left on the table is, well, okay, the ABC is in, right? It's in over here. We finished it. We are breaking trend here to the upside. Whoever are playing the trend line strategy here to the upside, well, you know the deal, okay? You enter with good risk management. You put your stop below the low, and you take profits when you start hitting resistance. TP1 was already hit. Okay. Right, so from a simplicity perspective, legends, you do not need to know anything about Elliott wave theory. You're basically just applying your trading strategy. But now the question is, okay, can the bulls take control? Okay, so looking at this structure, we have technically created a higher low. We have a high. So now looking just at market structure, and we have a higher high. We have created a higher low, and can we now go and create another higher high? Okay, is momentum starting to shift back to the upside? Crazy price action that happened over here. Absolutely crazy. Almost claimed the low, but we did not claim the low. And I remember doing a live stream, and I got so many hate comments from that live stream. When we were trading, I can't remember, we were trading in the structure, on the top somewhere. And and I told the legends, what if? Do you guys remember the live stream where I did, look at this, look at the candle, look at where ICP is, look at where Link is, look at where Ethereum is. What if this is the end of something and the start of something new? Well, we came back down. This is where I got the hate comments. Okay, and now we are where we are, right? We have still not claimed this low. So a couple of interesting things I want to share with everyone in this live stream. Okay, but first let's just quickly focus on this local structure that is forming over here, and then there's something interesting that I would like to share. Well, is there a scenario where the low is in, and we're not going to take this low again? Okay, unfortunately, I just have to stress it. Okay, the probabilities are still very high to take out this low at some point, even with momentum to the upside. Hence, this could potentially be a relief rally, right? And we come back down at a later stage and we come and claim the low again. But there is a chance that the low is in. And it's going to force people to buy in at higher levels, right? It's never easy in trading. You just have to buy up, and this is why I told everyone I'm buying up the fear. Okay, some people can't buy up the fear. They're too scared. It's going lower, right? I told everyone is waiting for $68,000. What if we don't get $68,000? Where are you going to buy? If you're planning to load up for another leg to the upside, what is your strategy? Where do you plan to buy? Are you buying the fear? Or are you all, is everyone still waiting for that last dip? Everyone's waiting for that one more low. At some point you're going to run out of one more lows, okay? And then price is going to reverse and it's going to shoot back to the upside. Right, legends, thanks for sharing the love over here. Let me say hi to the community. Let me use this format today. Let me use the sexy format today. This one over here. Right, legends, good morning. Let's see. Shill. Morning peeps, time for my daily motivation. Well, thanks for joining the live stream. Morning Dewald, Shan, Max, the legend. Dewald is back. Let's go. Yes, and remember to smash up that like button. Okay. I need to actually put these comments on a different screen because I see when, I need to look down to read the comments. Anyways, doesn't matter, right? Hit it. Good morning. Lion, welcome. Long on BTC. Still hold it, right? Beautiful. Hello, Dewald, Mr. Fast. Bitcoin has bottomed, Dewald. Yeah, there's a chance. There is also an Elliott wave scenario count that supports the low being in. Okay. Ram, Dewald, hi everyone. Sokman, are you smoking your socks? Because everyone thinks I'm smoking my socks. Okay, when there's so much fear in the market, right? Let me just put it back over here. When there is so much fear in the market, right? When we were falling down here, when there is so much fear, tariff wars, China and US, fighting with each other in terms of tariff wars. It's absolutely insane, right? It's just, from a technical perspective, you need to train your brain to buy the fear and sell the greed because, unfortunately, most people buy the greed and sell the fear. It's just a shift in mindset that you need to apply. Can we still go lower? Yes. But it is the right zone for me as a technical trader to buy. Okay, fear and sentiment is at all-time lows. No one wants to buy. There's this China tariff wars going on at the moment. Things are really bad at the moment, and you keep on thinking, fuck, how much worse is it going to get? Are we going to go and enter a bear market? Everyone is talking about a bear market. Everyone is talking about lower prices. Okay, that to me is the uncomfortableness of buying. Okay. Right, legends, quite a lot of alpha that I want to share over here. I have been asked the question, Dewald, what are the altcoins that you are currently accumulating? Okay, I will share that today in this live stream as well. It's not a lot, Okay, I'm not going to buy 1,000 altcoins, right? That's not my strategy. There are too many to pick from, and at some point you need to make a decision. And I make my decisions from a technical perspective because I'm a technical trader. I like an altcoin that has history, that has lots of data, where I can count the waves properly, where the bullish structures are still intact. Those are technically the things that I look at, not just fundamentals. Technicals for me is always number one. Fundamentals is second. Okay, right. Cool, legends. Let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. Hi, Dewald. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, folks. I long the 15-minute trendline breakout this morning at, nice, right? And we currently here on the upwards trend. But, guys, please just remember that we are hitting resistance. This is resistance. So this is not a place where you're supposed to be longing right now. Okay? You should be in the long already. Please do not FOMO into a trade because it's always a very bad idea to short at support and long at resistance. Okay? Not a good idea. There was your long, there's your stop loss. This is actually, even from this long, I know the risk reward is not great, but this is typically a place where I start taking a little bit off the table. Yes, can you get that little punch to the upside? Of course, yes. And that's why you're leaving some of the position open for higher levels, right? I've had quite a number of successful trades, right? And yesterday when we tapped, was it the 1.618 here to the bottom? Was it this one over here? Right, was it this one? Okay, this was the trade that I entered yesterday. This was also the trade that I highlighted to the Legends Pro community. This was the trade we spoke about yesterday. Okay, I did take aggressive profits. It is what it is, and now price is at a higher level. I don't care. I do not care. I'm looking for the next trading setup. I'm a day trader. I'm also an investor. And this is why I started accumulating on some of my favorite altcoins. Okay, legends, from a larger structure perspective, before I get to the interesting juiciness that I want to share today, okay, from a larger time, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Right, now, looking at the structure, where can we like to be here on the structure? Okay. Is there a chance that the low could be in? Yes, there's a chance. Let's just focus on this local structure over here. Remember, when you make a low, you need to build an impulsive structure back to the upside. When you make a low, you need to build an impulsive structure back to the upside. If it's corrective to the upside, you increase the probabilities of taking the low. It's as simple as that. If this is going to turn out to be a corrective structure to the upside, we're still going to come and take the low. Okay, so now, I think the scenario that most people are looking at the moment is the contracting diagonal here to the upside. Okay, it's basically you connect the 1 with 3 that we created, and now you can see, well, okay, it looks like it is indeed contracting here to the upside, and we already have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in. Now that we are over here, now that I have enough data, this scenario starts to carry higher probabilities, especially when you have your 4th wave in, which we now have. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count a contracting diagonal here to the upside. Beautiful. And you can also count it in 5-wave structures. And this is some of the secret sauce I want to share with everyone today, is that this looks awfully 3-wavy to the upside. This looks 3-wavy to the upside. But fortunately, in a contracting diagonal, you can have 5 waves to the upside and you can have 3 waves to the upside. It doesn't matter. It's still a bullish structure. But remember, when your 5th wave is in, when it's in, okay, you want the impulse to correct itself and create a higher low. And boy, oh boy, is this higher low, okay, going to be interesting. If there's some insane bullish CVD building up against number 2 over here as price is falling here to the downside, you could get a nice little explosion here to the upside that's just going to leave everyone behind. Okay, so there's a chance for this structure to be bullish and for the low to be in for now. Because you could still go up to $95,000, okay, this is now the conundrum, legends, is that even if the structure turns out to be bullish, okay, let's paint this out. We are sitting still with another conundrum, but you know, it's a trade worth taking. You could form an A, B, C to the upside that could even take you to $95,000. Easy. Okay. And this is where most people are going to believe the bull market is back, baby. It's back. Right? But guess what? You've formed a three-wave structure back to the upside. And this is why the move here to the upside is going to be very important. Okay? Especially the retracement. Are we going to get continuation to the upside, or are we going to form a five-wave structure to the upside? So we need 4 and 5. So there's still a lot that needs to happen here to the upside, legends. So the both bullish case scenarios, but the one a little bit more bearish is you either do an ABC or you do a 1, 2. This is the one we all want. 3. Okay, remember what I did so much education on these structures yesterday in the live stream. You know, if you do yourself a favor, go check out yesterday's live stream. If you want to know the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s, everything that I'm talking about here, I did a lot of education yesterday in the live stream. So go and check out yesterday's live stream. It's jam-packed full of education and knowledge. Okay, so legends, this is what we want to see. Okay, if price does decide to go up here for the 5th wave, it rejects, it makes a 3-wave corrective structure, and it pumps here out of nowhere and it explodes here to the upside. Okay, if once you end over here, okay, this is the big question, because with 3 and C you're gonna correct. Okay, hopefully in a 3-wave structure you're gonna correct in a 3-wave structure. Okay. With number 3 over here, you want another leg to the upside. You want to be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because 5-wave structures are impulsive structures and they usually swing momentum back into the opposite direction. So you want to see this leg. If price continues to fall here impulsively to the downside, then it's a C wave, which means you can come take the low again. So we need to see that, right? And some traders I know from an institutional perspective, people that trade with large sums of cash, they will wait for this. And the retracement is going to be where they load up. Okay, they want to see the structure that they want to see for impulsiveness and a potential reversal back to the upside. Okay, and then they load up during the retracement. And then that is typically, you know, where you start seeing your bullish CVD, whales are starting to accumulate again, spot buys are starting to go up, features trading, leverage trading are starting to go down. We need spot to come back into the market. Okay. So this is the most obvious structure, legends. Okay. It's the most obvious structure that it looks like we are forming a contracting diagonal here to the upside. And they play out everywhere. I mean, we've had one that failed over here. Exactly the same. But just to show everyone that these structures play out all the time. Beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were waiting for the 3-wave corrective structure, which we got. Okay. Look at where it bounced. Look at where it bounced. Beautiful bounce over there. Right. But it failed. It did not claim the high, and I told everyone we have to claim the high, as if we claim this high, we're most likely going up further. Okay, and we failed to claim the high and we fell down, but you can see it was still a nice little long, beautiful long here to the upside. You know, even if there was a little trend that we played, we played this long. Myself and the pro community, we played this long here to the upside. Okay, and if you didn't pay yourself when you start hitting resistance, well, then you got stopped out with no cash in the bag. Okay, because no structure is ever guaranteed to play out exactly the way that you've got it. Sometimes it, well, hopefully it does. Okay, hopefully it does. Right, but just to show everyone that these structures play out everywhere. Contracting diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this now the same structure that we are building here to the upside? Okay. So, legends, this is going to be a very important deciding factor. This little structure over here is going to be the important deciding factor, because don't be fooled by an explosive move here to the upside, okay? Thinking that the bull market is back. And once you get over here, you know, and this is typically where retail starts FOMOing back into the market. Crap, I missed the lows. Let me buy over here so that I still can gain some momentum here to the upside. And it falls down in an impulsive structure. It corrects and it falls down. And it claims the low again. And then what does retail do? Sell, sell, sell. Okay. They don't just add, typically that's, from a spot perspective, that's where you're supposed to add to your position, because there's a lot of counts, okay, that validates that sweeping up this low is potentially, you're most likely going to get an SFP and then continue back to the upside. You can just see how the market is playing with retail. Let's buy. Oh shit, let's sell. Right? You get an SFP and then like, oh crap, let's buy, you guys know this by now. Buy the highs, sell the lows. Buy the highs, sell the lows, right? This is what happens typically. I will only change bullish once I see this. Then the retracement becomes very interesting. Only then does the retracement become interesting. Okay, so, but I'm going to be here on YouTube. I'm going to update you guys every single day, every step of the way, so that we can analyze the structure and assess the highest probability scenarios. And when we do make this little bad boy over here, okay, I'm most probably going to come here onto the live stream and tell everyone I am building swing positions for some of my favorite altcoins, including Bitcoin. Yo, bro, stop smoking your stinky socks. Right, it's looking like a very low volume pump though. Yes, it is, but I mean, volume could start increasing. Okay, this is actually a really good pump that I'm seeing over here from a structural perspective, okay? So when I look at this structure, you want your fifth wave. So here in 3, you have a lot of volume. Okay, a lot of volume here in 3. Also, 1 has a lot of volume. You can see when 1 formed, you have a lot of volume. 3 is forming, you have a lot of volume. And what you want to see is that when you build a oh, my pen just disappeared. Where's my pen? My pen disappeared. But oh, wait, here we go. There's my pen. My pen is back. What you want to see in a contracting diagonal is with each peak, you want volume to decrease. This is just following Elliott wave rules to perfection at the moment. Okay, so with each peak, you want volume to decrease, and ideally with your fifth wave, you want to see lower volume than your third wave. So far it's happening, textbook happening here at the moment. But remember, legends, if this contracting diagonal is going to play out, okay, you still expect a rejection. Okay, so let me take these bigger structures out the way and just, let's focus a little bit more here on the lower time frames. If we are forming this 5-wave structure to the upside, and you might be saying, okay, Dewald, but it's pumping with a lot of less volume. It's not a lot of volume here to the upside. It's what you want to see. But once you claim this high, okay, you want price to start slowing down. You want price to reject. You want price to, it struggles and then it falls down, because after a fifth wave, every time after a fifth wave, you want a larger corrective structure to correct the entire impulse. So you want this move to correct itself. So you could still reject. Definitely. Okay, there you can reject. And then when you reject, then people are going to say, well, it's because we pumped with lower volume. But you need to realize that the impulsive structure is correcting itself. It can form a higher low, and then the volume kicks in. Because now you are inside your C wave or your third wave. Then you want to see some crazy volume starting to kick in over here once this bad boy starts shooting to the upside. Okay, exactly what happened here. Right, volume increases exactly with the upwards momentum. Volume increases, so it's fine for me to see lower volume on the fifth wave, because that's actually following textbook Elliott wave scenario rules. Okay, cool, legends. Now, remember to smash up that like button for the education. Let me go through some comments. some interesting comments. Let me do the comments. There we go. There we go. Right. Let's go through some comments. Are we moving close to global scale downtrend line? I'm not sure what you mean by global scale downtrend line. Macro scale? I'm not. Okay. Do you mean this trend line here to the bottom on the 4 hour? Okay. That's the one that I'm also seeing. Do you mean this trend line? Oh, sorry. I need to share my chart. There we go. Do you mean this trend line? Yes, definitely a possibility. Okay, so you're forming your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you reject again by the trend. And then once you reject, people are like, oh, for heaven's sakes, not again. We've been rejecting. Okay, now we're rejecting again. Okay, and maybe I just need to draw the trend line a little bit better. Okay, so you basically have your trend. Let's put it on top of the week over there, and let's just leave it on top of this week over here. Okay, so let's see. Or you could say, well, what if that is the trend? Because I see some people's got the trend like this, right? So it's either going to be another fake out. Oh crap, another fake out. Or it's going to tap it to perfection. Ding! You know, it's going to have that bell effect. Ding! It taps the trend to perfection and it rejects. And then everyone's going to say, oh, not again. We rejected again by the trend. We didn't break out. Okay? And then here is where the magic then happens. That's where the magic happens. You find support, okay? And then it cracks through like a crazy person and it goes potentially even to $95,000. Okay. So yes, very valid comment over there. Is a short good now? We can go and analyze the smaller time frames in a moment. I still need to just check my daily levels, my weekly level. I just want to make sure that my levels are updated and we can go and look at for some trading scenarios here at the moment. Dewald, you remain the only YouTuber I take seriously. True legend. Moody, thank you so much, right? It's just a game of probabilities at the end of the day, from a technical perspective. And if the technicals are telling me that there's a higher chance of claiming the all-time highs before we claim $48,000, I have to respect it. Okay, I have to respect my technicals. If the technicals are showing me that we are in a bear market, we are going to find more downwards momentum, I need to respect my technicals, because I can tell you guys now, there's going to be a point in time, okay, where I'm going to see bearish signs. There's going to be euphoria in the market. Everyone's going to shout for higher prices, and I'm going to be the only bearish peanut in the packet. And then I'm going to tell everyone, no, we're going down. And everyone's going to say, no, Dewald, we're going up. And I'm going to receive a lot of hate comments for that, okay? Because during this entire structure, I know, okay, that I have received a lot of flack, which is fine. I don't care, right? I'm just highlighting technicals over here. I'm still standing by my guns in saying that for now, the probabilities are still higher to claim the high before we claim the low. That is what the technicals are showing me. But it's a game of probabilities. It's never guaranteed. But if the probabilities are higher to take the high than the low, from a technical perspective that I'm seeing over here, I need to respect my technical analysis. Okay, so the hate that I've received from everyone is that the bear market has started. Okay. And that's where I start asking myself the question. Let me just put the music ever softer. That's where I ask myself the question. Very, very, very unlikely that everyone has successfully called the top. Doesn't make sense to me. If everyone was thinking that this is a healthy retracement, we need to load up, buy the dip. Everyone still had green thumbnails, bull signs. If everyone still had that, because that's what happened. Yeah, I remember. Okay, and I really like philosophical scenarios and psychology scenarios. Okay, when we did this, everyone still screamed for buy the dip. The bull market's not over. We're going to 100K. Everyone over here, there wasn't fear in the market. There was like, it's a healthy correction. Okay, yes, and we did get another pump to the upside. But even here, inside of this zone, I remember there was still not enough fear in the market. Everyone was still screaming for $100,000. And it's only when we took these lows, if I remember correctly, it's only when we took these lows and we started breaking the lows and we were consolidating over here, where people finally, the penny started to drop. Oh shit, I think we're in a bear market. It was only here when most people realized that we were in a bear market. And Bitcoin was already down 54%. Okay, that is when you know the top is in. Because when you have made a top, everyone still screams for higher levels. The bull market's not finished. The difference here, ladies and gentlemen, is that everyone is saying the bear market is in. We have started the bear market. Do you guys see the psychology, the difference in mindset that I'm seeing over here? Is that I need people to scream buy the dip. Bull market is not finished. We're going to $500,000. Okay. Then I would have said most probably, you know, and the technicals needed to be a little bit different as well. Okay. But the technicals also supports a corrective structure to the downside, not an impulsive structure. But I can tell you now, if this was an impulsive structure, and everyone was screaming buy the dip, then I'm going to be here on the live stream telling everyone, cash out, no financial advice. This is what I am doing. I'm cashing out. No financial advice. I'm cashing out. Okay. And then maybe when we get here to lower levels, people are going to start realizing, fuck, okay, shit, bear market is, you know, we are in the bear market. And it's usually when people start realizing that you are in the bear market, you make one more dip. And then you start continuing the recovery back to the upside. I haven't seen any of that yet. Okay. Am I right? I don't know, but I know that I have probabilities on my side. I know that I have technicals on my side. Okay, right, legends. And now that I am here on the higher time frame, I know we all want those trading, juicy alpha trading opportunities, but now that I am on the higher time frame, there's just something that I would like to highlight. Okay. Nico, you are a legend. You are the legend. Mr. Simon, welcome here to the live stream. So great to see you. Yo, Dewald, what about the 82.5 zone for rejection? 78? Yes, I will go and analyze that, Simon. I know that there's a good juicy area there, 82.5. 82.5, we're almost there, okay? I just quickly want to point out something else here at the moment, right, legends? Now that I am on the psychology path, okay, and I am already here on the daily time frame, something that I just want to highlight over here, okay? And I'm not saying it is going to happen like this. Remember what I said during the beginning of the live stream, probabilities for now are still higher to take out the low. Okay. For now. I'm not saying we're going into a bear market. I'm just saying from the structural perspective that we have formed over here, for now, based on this data, the probabilities are still high to take out the low. Okay, so we could potentially still get one more dip to the upside. Whether it's a breakout and then we take the low, you know, we will go and discuss that locally here on the time frame at the moment. But I just have to point this out. Okay, when we made this low, do you guys remember this low that we made on the 5th of August? Okay, just something interesting I want to point out is that even with this momentum to the upside, when we made this low, with the momentum here to the upside, okay, it looked three wavy. It counted so ugly from an Elliott wave perspective. Most of the Elliotticians counted this as a 1, 2, 3. We're going to take the low. It was such an ugly structure that formed that even from an Elliott wave perspective, okay, didn't make sense. The probabilities were still higher to take the low. And what happened? Okay, people most probably FOMO'd into the pump over here, but you came back for a retest. And then you made a higher low. Okay. And then a proper 5-wave structure formed to the upside. And then that created doubt. Like, oh shit. Okay. What is this now? Why are we getting now a 5-wave structure? But the one thing I do want to highlight is that when you zoom into the smaller time frames, you can count the structure as a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It did not break any rules, okay? It was ugly as hell, but it was still a valid 5-wave structure. Okay, and even when you zoom into this little structure on the smaller time frames, I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to lose my spot over here. You can also count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of this little structure over here. So there was a 5-wave count, but you had to force the count, but there was a 5-wave count. But look at where price is now at the moment. Okay, so it was valid. It played out. Very confusing, even from the most experienced Elliott wave traders out there, they struggled to count an impulsive structure inside of this structure. But that was the moment where the low was in and we went to higher levels. Okay. Then again, I want to take you guys back to the previous bull cycle. Okay. Look at this. Very, 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 very interesting. Okay. Look at this. I can just imagine how people struggled to count this as a 5-wave structure. Look at this. Okay, when we fell down and we still went up for another high, what on earth is this? You made a low. Look at how close this low came to this low, but it didn't take it. It was an ugly structure that, doesn't make any sense from a bullish continuation perspective, right? How do you even count the 5-wave impulse in here? It was such a confusing structure, and look at what happened. Price went to $68,000 from here. And I can tell you now, most or if not all Elliotticians would have said, because of this, we're going down. And what happened? The opposite. Beautiful trend line breakout. You apply your trading strategy, you play the breakout, you take profits by the highs, you leave a moon bag open, and up we went. So the only point that I'm trying to highlight over here, legends, is that where we are right now at the moment, okay, there's also confusion at the moment. Okay, if I zoom into the structure here on the 1-hour time frame, okay, I like to put the puzzle pieces together and show everyone what I'm looking at is that now again, look at this. Look at how close this low came to this low. For most people, it increases the probabilities of taking the low because when you create a 1, 2, it's very uncommon target for a 2. Then a 3, then a 4, then a 5 increases the probabilities that you're going to fail dismally like we did over here. Okay. So in saying that, I'm just saying, okay, that there's a chance that the low could be in. Because it seems that every time the low is in, the market makers creates the most confusion that they possibly can so that people don't buy the dip. And then price just goes, right? So just something interesting I wanted to point out today. Now, cool, legends, what I want to do now is remember to smash up that like button. And also, if you are not trading with one of the exchanges, down in the description where I've organized you the best deals with these exchanges, not sure what you are waiting for, right? It costs you nothing extra and you qualify for the best deals that these exchanges have to offer. I've cleaned up the description, so if you go down in the description, it's nice and neat and sexy. You know exactly where to find the links. Weeks, only an email and a password to start trading. No documents or anything. You can do some nice futures trading. They also have a demo account. So if you go check out yesterday's live stream, jam-packed full of education. Okay. If you want to practice your trading strategy or you just want to get a feel for the market, you're still inexperienced or you maybe are experienced, but you want to, still practice your trading strategies, Weeks does have a demo account where you play with free money as well. But also, if you do deposit money into your futures account, you get 50% of the money that you've deposited back for free to trade with. If you deposit $100, you get $50. You deposit $2,000, which is the cap, you get $1,000 extra to trade with. Okay, and you need the rules. You need to leave the money there for up to 72 hours, and then the money gets airdropped into your futures account. You also get 25% discount on your trading fees. Okay, and then with Bluffin, you get 20% discount. 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your futures account. So if you deposit $1,000, you get $200 to trade with for free. Okay, All you need is an email and a password. Right, so I've just kept it simple. Yeah, I will most probably put the other exchanges back next week, but for now, I just wanted to keep it simple over here. It's also your way to support the channel and for me to continue coming here onto YouTube and giving you guys the alpha. Okay, right, legends, just give me a second. Ooh, I have the heater on here next to me and it's getting very hot at the moment. You know what? If the market makers want to create confusion, they would take the low again, especially if people are looking at the contracting diagonal setup thoughts. Yes, Doc, a scenario that I really like, okay? A scenario that I really like is, I need to go here onto the 8-hour time frame and just quickly show everyone. Do I have it here? Yes, I already have it prepared out, okay? The scenario that I really like is this one. Okay, it's also starting to decrease in probabilities, but let's just entertain this, okay? Because yeah, there's a chance, okay? There's a chance, and this scenario has two options. There's a chance that it's finished, okay? Let's just keep it simple over here, where you have formed an A, B, C in a contracting diagonal. Your C entered in a contracting diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. Okay, but then there's the other option, which I agree with you, is an extension. This is 4. That's forming over here at the moment. This is 4. 5 still needs to go and claim the lows, and this was 3. Okay, I like this scenario more from a psychology perspective, from a market maker's perspective, is that you have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, which is now busy, we go down for 5 and we take the lows again. Because there's too many people watching the WXY corrective structure here to the downside, and also the WXY corrective structure to the downside eliminates confusion. Okay, so if the market makers wants to create confusion, they would take the lows and we would bounce. Because what this structure then does is it has two possible outcomes, and that is what's creating the confusion at the moment. Because this structure could either be an ABC, which is done and we're going to go into the bull market again, or it can be that the impulse, the bear market is in, and this is the first leg of an impulse to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes 1. You make a lower high, you reject at $100,000, $95,000 in the zone, and then we go back into a bear market. So this structure for me at the moment creates more confusion than any other bearish structure. So if the market makers gives us another fourth wave that rejects again at the trend, and we fall back down and we take the lows, this structure, I think from a psychology perspective, is the one that's going to create the most confusion. Are we building an impulse back to the downside, or is the correction done and we are going to all-time highs? Do you see the confusion this structure creates? The WXY, the one that everyone is talking about, because I do see that the WXY is gaining in popularity and everyone is talking about the WXY at the moment. Okay, it's this one over here. If we're going to create a WXY, you're basically repeating this structure to the downside. And I think I did an interesting thing the other day where I took a bars pattern, right? You take it from the high, you take it here to the low, and you basically say, well, what if the structure is going to repeat itself here to the downside? Okay, and that's basically what you want to see. Right. The scary thing about this structure is that we're still going lower. And that, yes, that is going to scare the crap out of everyone. Definitely, there's a possibility. But it closes the door for confusion. Because from an Elliott wave perspective, this is a beautiful corrective structure. WXY, you have a zigzag in W and you have a zigzag in Y, which increases the probabilities that you're going to find support, even if it's deep, and you're going to go, right? So this structure doesn't create a lot of confusion, although it creates a lot of fear, but it doesn't create confusion. Okay. But I mean, both structures are still valid and none of them have been invalidated. Right. So that's just basically, what I'm seeing here in the market at the moment. But then there's the possibility, like I've just highlighted in your contracting C, that the low could be in. What if, okay, because there's a valid count. What if this was 3, this was 5, this was 4, or 4, doesn't matter where you want to put 4, but this was 4, you get the point. There's a count where this was either an ABC, it's done. We're going up. And this is why I'm trying to highlight to everyone as well that there's a chance that the low is in, because even from an Elliott wave perspective, it supports the count. Okay. When we were here, this was confusing. This low was confusing. Okay. Didn't make sense, didn't balance, the timing didn't make sense, whatever the case might be. But now that we have this low, some of the scenarios has come to an end. Okay, right, legends. Now, what I want to do is zoom in here to the smaller time frames. Remember to smash up that like button for the alpha over here. Higher before lower. Yes, I would also like a little bit higher before lower. I think we need a little bit of a relief rally, at least here to the upside. Also, as per the thumbnail. Okay, there's a chance. Okay, there is also a chance. Okay, let's now put on our bullish caps. Okay, you need to be prepared for this one. Okay, if I go here onto the 15-minute time frame and I look at the structure, okay, there is a chance you can also count this, because when I zoom into the smaller time frames here, I can count the structure as a 5-wave structure. I can. It's ugly as hell, but you can count this as a 5-wave structure, where on the larger time frame it looks very 3-wavy. It looks like a corrective structure. Okay, but on the smaller time frames, you can count 5 waves in the structure. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in this structure. So the most bullish case scenario, okay, and it's not the contracting, the most bullish case scenario is, what if this is forming a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's just going to rip up until it gets to $95,000? What if it's just going to rip? Contracting diagonal out the window, okay? Everyone looking at this contracting diagonal, because I see this this structure is gaining in popularity inside of social media, and I just don't like it when a lot of people are looking at the same structure. Then, it tells me that market makers are most likely going to throw some confusion in here. Okay, when everyone is looking at the same structure, I don't like it, but yes, it can still play out because it's not been invalidated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is the contracting diagonal. You reject. And the 5th wave can extend perfectly fine, but you get acceptance back below the trend. You have your stop above the high and it falls to the downside. Okay, either it creates that higher low and we go up, the ABC that I've spoken about just now, a while ago, or what if? Okay, this is now the insane move, which I personally think no one is expecting. No one is expecting this move over here. What if? Okay, let me paint it out in detail for everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside of this, you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Obviously, this is, it's just an estimation of what I see over here. Okay. This is your most bullish structure. And let's make it a different color over here. Let's make this one orange, or that's a bad color, right? Let's just do it like this, where you're basically forming a double 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. This is the most bullish structure, and this structure can even take you to $100,000. After this high, just remember, nothing goes up in a straight line. Each structure, it doesn't matter how bullish it is, has to correct itself. Okay, so again, this structure, the retracement is going to be very interesting. You see the grind at the bottom. Okay, this is usually what I look for. In simple terms, you see a grind to the bottom, you see that, and you see a grind at the top, that's a bullish structure. You must probably have multiple 1-2s, and you have 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So you have a grind at the downside, you have that guard candle to the upside, and you have another grind at the upside. The retracement is a very interesting load up zone because this is a bullish structure. Okay. And this is potentially what could play out over here. Okay. Maybe you get this. So if I paint this out, you basically have a grind at the bottom, you have that impulse, and you have the grind at the top. So if I take these two things out, basically the same thing that I've explained. Okay, you have this grind, you have the grind, you have that nice little candle in the middle, and then the retracement becomes very interesting, where you then find support. Okay, where this grinding happened, you find support above this grind, and then you continue, because this then becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we continue the bull market. So this is the most bullish case scenario that we have at the moment. Okay, doesn't carry the highest probability. For now, the contracting diagonal carries the highest probability, and also the highest probability is still to come and claim this low. From a technical Elliott wave, let me call it from an Elliott wave perspective, probabilities are still high to come and claim this low. But I just had to point out all the bullish case scenarios, okay? And where you just apply your trading strategy. I mean, it's so simple, legends. Regardless of how you count this structure here, okay? If you applied your trading strategy, there's a breakout. You would now be in profits, okay? It was another breakout. Beautiful breakout over here, right, that we played to the upside. There was another breakout. Okay, even if you just applied the breakout strategy, there was also a lot of SFPs. There was 1.618 levels that got hit in the structure. This structure has really provided some great trading opportunities from a day trading perspective. So, you know, from a day trading perspective, we don't care if we're going up or whether we're going down. We just want our levels of confluence, short, long, take profits, we in and out. Okay, right. Like the Vim's missing layups. Had to buy and buy not to lose money. I'm out for now. I'm waiting for bottom. I'm not opposed to it going for a wave down. Yes, I'm also not opposed to it going for a wave down. Definitely not, right? It concerns me when everyone is waiting for another wave down. That is what concerns me, because when everyone is leaning in a certain direction, almost every single time you get the opposite. And this is often where, you know, people run polls on the YouTube channels and stuff like that, is to say, are you feeling bullish or are you feeling bearish? Most people from most of the polls that I have seen are feeling bearish, and most people, I can tell you now, is going to say we're going to claim the low. When most people are calling for something, sentiment, that's what we refer to as sentiment. When the sentiment is higher to take out the low again, well, look at where we are right now. Okay, then we most probably going up. As simple as that. Right, legends, what I want to do now is remember to smash up that like button. Let me clean up the charts. Let's go to the daily. I just want to make sure that I have all my levels marked out. I didn't do this prep, and I thought I'm going to do it inside of the live stream, so that for those of you that don't know how to do it, you know exactly how I do it. So now that I am on the daily time frame, I like to switch on my daily levels and see if I have ones that I need to remove or ones that I need to add. Okay, so we are now approaching a fresh daily level. I can see it over here. Switch on my magnet. Let's snap it on. Okay, we are approaching the level that I think Simon or Jones, I think someone highlighted this level. It is a rejection zone. This fresh daily level over here, it is a rejection zone depending on how price reacts at that level. Okay, if it closes some high time frame candles above that level, it's most probably going to continue up. Okay, if it rejects, leaves some wicks behind, you see weakness, bearish CVD, it's most probably going to reject here to the downside. So very important level to pay attention to. Also, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have my naked point of control of yesterday. Where is it? Okay, we already smashed it, so I'm not going to put it in. Okay, and then I just want to put on my other naked point of controls and make sure that we have not tapped them. Okay, so it was this one. Yes, it's still where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that's all up to date. Weekly levels, just want to make sure, is my weekly levels up to date? Take these things out the way, switch on my weekly levels. Ooh, we actually got rejected here by a naked point of control on the weekly. But I mean, we all know about that. Yeah, weekly naked point of control, 1.236. That's where we played the short to the downside. Okay. So this level theoretically is done. I can take it out. It's already been tapped. It's already served its purpose. Now there's no level. This one I can only include as a weekly level once the candle is closed by Sunday. Okay, so nothing happening here at the moment. Also, when you look at last week's candle over here, you will see, if you snap it on to the candle, okay, that's the weekly point of control that I had there that I just deleted at the moment. Okay, so now I have my levels. Let's go on to the 15-minute time frame. And I think it becomes very interesting when you switch on everything. Okay, you dirty the kitchen to start making the delicious food. This is now where it becomes interesting. Oh, we're very, we can like to be a little bit close to this daily level over here. Okay, so now I would like to take a fib from the high to the low and see, okay, it has confluence with a 786. So very quickly I can determine a short, potential short. Okay, and guys, when I talk about shorts and when I talk about longs, I'm not talking about I'm looking for a short that's going to do this. I'm looking for a short that can retrace until it hits support. I take profits, I get in, I get out. You leave a moonbag open because yes, it can still go and claim the lows. Who knows, right? Who knows? It can still go and claim the lows. But you need to pay yourself. If you're shorting resistance, you need to pay yourself when you start hitting support. Okay, I just need to switch the magnet off. It's stuffing up the lines over here. Right, so shorting area for now that I see purely based on levels is we have a daily level, we have a 786. Interesting level, okay? Maybe this is going to form an impulse back to the downside. Okay, three wave doesn't make really sense, okay? But you could have a WXY, but I would not expect the Y. If you form a WXY, so now, now I'm throwing Elliott wave theory in here as well as I'm doing my technical analysis. I'm looking for a potential short over here. This can't be an impulse because this is a three-wave structure. Doesn't make sense. This is an ABC, which is in. So now you have to start looking at WXY corrective structures. I know I'm going fast over here, but I just want to see that, does this short have the potential to, with great certainty, come and claim the lows? No, it doesn't. Because when you have an ABC and a W, and this is going up for an X over here, okay, because you've tapped the 0.786, it decreases the probabilities that if you form a Y, that it's going to take the low of W. So the Y could form a triangle, okay, a bull flag, it breaks out, or it can, whoops, but yeah, that's basically, or it just forms a normal zigzag to the downside. Zigzag, finds support, and it continues momentum to the upside. So in this shorting opportunity, you need to just, it's just a simple rule of you need to pay yourself because it doesn't have a high chance of rejection and claiming the lows. It can reject, okay, it finds support, and you need to almost be out of your position when it starts hitting these levels here to the downside. That's where I will just typically get out. If it does take the low, I don't care. It's still a successful trade. That's what makes me happy. I won the trade. Okay. Right, so that is the most obvious shorting area that we have here at the moment. Okay. Obvious shorting zone. I just want to see something else. Now, if this is, okay, I'm just talking you through my thinking. If this is a ABC to the downside in a W, this is now the X that potentially is going to finish over here. Okay, I'm just going to go and measure some corrective structure targets. So you have a okay, flip from the high to the low. It's very high for an X wave, but it's still perfectly fine. Yeah, I need the X wave to be in because once the X wave is in, okay, let me just take this flip out the way. I can then go and calculate, well, where, okay, so W, wherever X is going to end, let's say we do get the successful rejection, and then you can see to the downside you have the 0.618, which is a Y wave target. Okay, W, X, Y. You also have the 1-to-1 extension. And at the naked point of control. So if you do get it, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. If you get an X wave that goes this deep, where it taps the 786, it increases the probabilities that you're not going to take the low, but you can still take the low. It's just a game of probability. So if the lesser probability plays out, okay, so the 0.618 is a very interesting zone to just cash out, because you are hitting some nice support over here. And this is now exactly the same level that I've highlighted. So this is where my confluence comes together. This is maybe where you leave a little bit of a moon bag open to the downside, because the 1-to-1 extension, if you form a three-wave structure, we all know the 1-to-1 extension and the 1.236, very interesting. And you can see how the 1-to-1 extension lines up perfectly with a naked point of control. The 1.236 lines up perfectly with the daily level. So if this, maybe this is A, maybe this is a three-wave B. Okay, that's another way to count the structure. Maybe this is A, B, and you create a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. Beautiful. $77,000, $76,000, $300. I will definitely be looking for longs in the zone if we lose this low. If it's a W, X, Y, there's a chance that your Y bounces at $79,000 and it continues to the upside. So now that I have my levels, okay, it becomes very interesting. If I play a short, I know where to take majority of my profits. It's not guaranteed we're going to get here, because we can get a bounce. Maybe there's a trend, I play the breakout to the upside. If we do successfully bounce here to the upside and we start going to higher levels, there's a chance you're going to come and take these highs and go to the daily levels, okay? If it's an ABC to the downside, okay, you're looking at the 1-to-1 extension, 1.236 in perfect confluence with your naked point of control, your daily level, and 1.618 at $74,000, 346 looks absolutely juicy as well. Okay, but you're basically going to claim the lows. You're going to claim the lows. But I mean, it's still a very interesting level. Very, very interesting level. So let's play out the most bearish case scenario inside of this current local structure. Is what if, okay, price rejects? What if it rejects and it falls all the way down to the 1.618? And this is why I just wanted to highlight, I'm still considering a swing failure pattern from the lows. If we fall here to the one, you all know now, you should know by now how magical this number is. Do you know where we bounced there? 1.618. Okay, we caught along here, 1.618. This 1.618 has just been absolutely magical with this entire structure. If something bad really happens and maybe Donald Trump or China posts some more tariff bad news or whatever the case might be, and we do get a massive crash here to the downside, do not be scared, okay, because this could be an epic long opportunity to the upside. Okay, don't be scared. You have levels of confidence that aligns with each level. And that's basically how simple it is. Well, okay, as simple as it gets, right? As simple as it gets. Okay, legends, and remember, if you'd like to come and trade Bitcoin and like to build some positions, okay, I also want to share, well, I got the question, which altcoins am I accumulating right now? Okay, a disclaimer, I do have a lot of altcoins in my portfolio, not many. Okay, I've thinned them out. I've got about 12 altcoins in my portfolio. I used to have way more. I just sold it and cleaned up my list. It's easier to manage a smaller portfolio than a large portfolio. Okay, and remember, the altcoins that I'm going to go through now can be bought on Weeks and Bluffin. Okay, 25% discount on your trading fees on Weeks, and if you deposit $1,000 into Weeks, you get $500 extra to trade with. $2,000, you get $1,000 extra to trade with. So whatever you deposit in your features account, you will get 50% back on that to trade with. All you need is an email and a password, and then Bluffin, you get 20% cash back on the money that you deposit, and the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. So both of these for me are my day trading exchanges. Okay, and definitely I'm going to be building some swing positions here on Weeks if I see what I want on some of my favorite altcoins. Okay, legends, you might be asking yourself, Please look at ETH. Yes, Simon. You might be asking yourself, well, which are the 5 tokens that I'm currently looking at? Number 1 on the list is ETH. Looking at ETH. ETH is in a very, very interesting zone. Okay, 1 hour over here on the live stream. So I just want to see how much time I have and how deep the analysis can go. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to go through 5 altcoins that I am currently accumulating. Please, guys, this is not financial advice. I encourage you to do your own research. You are in charge of your own finances. If Ethereum falls to lower prices, I have a strategy for that as well. And I have shared that strategy during one of my live streams. Okay, where I then plan to exit. Okay, certain things needs to happen for my exit plan to kick in. I can tell you guys now, okay, if I'm accumulating in a zone, like on ETH over here, and it falls, I'm not selling because I have an exit plan. Then my exit plan kicks in. You're most likely going to get a swing failure from the low at the 1.618. And you're going to get a relief rally. That's my exit plan. Just in simple terms. It's a little bit more complex than that. But I'm telling you guys now, if I'm accumulating in a specific zone, I don't lose money. Because I know with patience, I have an exit strategy that I can execute my trades. It's not just nothing goes down in a straight line. That's the one thing about the market that is guaranteed. Nothing goes up or down in a straight line. If ETH loses my accumulation zone and it falls, my exit strategy kicks in. Okay? And I will most likely still make money, but not as much as I would have liked to for bullish momentum to continue. But I'm not going to take a loss. The same thing on AR. AR also has, it's not one of the ones, by the way, that I'm accumulating at the moment. I already have my bags. It's loaded. I'm not accumulating any more AR. My bag is big enough. Okay, so ETH, let's just talk about the bullish case scenario. It still has a low and it still has a higher low. So from a structural perspective, it looks good. Okay, which means that this structure could still give you an insane rally to the upside, right? And from a target perspective, okay, WXY, it has hit the 1.236. It's hit the targets. The only target that I still see to the downside where I'm aggressively accumulating, if it gets there, it might not get there, okay, is... Just want to see how I measured this one. Let me take that one out. I think it was this one over here. From the high to the low to the high over there. Okay, just want to see here on the log scale. Did we hit that target? Oh, wait, it's the wrong FIP pool, legends. I'm smoking my socks. But anyways, very interesting also when you count this wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you count the 5 waves here to the downside. Ooh, look at that. 1.618. Love it. Love the 1.618. Okay, so it's just, I'm just pointing out reasons why I'm accumulating, but I have gone through this in detail. The most important low, okay, I want to share with everyone what is the low that I'm still looking to accumulate aggressively if we do get there. It is this one, ABC, okay, so it's, let me do this. Not that one, legends. That one has been invalidated. To weekly levels, Elliott wave, W. Okay, here we go. Right, so it is basically an A, B, C also has a target. A W, X, Y also have a target. We have hit a Y wave target, but there is still a C wave target to the downside that can still be claimed. Okay, and that's the one that I want to point out now, where for me, I'm going to be buying. I'm going to be buying aggressively. Okay, you need to do your own research, right? A, B, and I want to put this on the log scale just so that I have it in there. Okay, so this is still a bullish target for me. I know it took me a little while to get there. I just needed to find my bearings. So if this is an ABC here to the downside, you can see, you know, it bounced here on the 1.236. This is where I started buying. Okay, 1-to-1 extension. That's also where I started buying, because the 1-to-1, the 1.236, and the 1.618 are all C wave targets. This is the only target that we did not hit yet. So if ETH comes down to $1,349, that is where I start deploying more aggressively. Like, I get seriously aggressive over there. If we don't get there, then at least I'm in the market already. Okay. So the target to the downside, which is still bullish, look, if you take a fib from the low to the high here on ETH, look at where ETH is. It has not even tapped the 786, which is still a maximum bullish target. It's a bullish target, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bullish target. So if ETH taps the 1.618, even the 786 over here, I will get more aggressive with my accumulation. So I just want to point out to everyone that if the market still falls to the downside, this is still a zone where I am interested in buying ETH. Okay. I don't want people to come and ask me the question, if we take the low, Dewald, are you still buying ETH? Because then everyone's going to be bearish again. And I'm telling you now, I buy the fear. Okay. If we're going to take this low, there's going to be a lot of fear, and I'll be buying in this zone. Definitely. Okay. So ETH is one that I'm looking at. And this, I'm even accumulating. This is my plan, my trading strategy. I started accumulating here on ETH. Where was it? Let's zoom into the structure. In this zone, I already started buying. In this zone, I already started buying ETH, because no one can catch the bottoms. No one can catch the tops to perfection. But I know that it's in a good zone to start loading up. Okay, I am loading up here. It might go. If it falls, I'm loading up here. That's my plan, right? And if you'd like to do the same because your research aligns, okay, I have the perfect exchanges down at the bottom, right? Weeks, 25% discount on your trading fees. Bluffin, 20% money that you can trade with. 50% money extra that you can trade with when you deposit that into your features account. Remember, guys, you have to leave your money there for 72 hours, okay? You can't just throw money into your features account, take it out, and just wait for your bonus. You have to put your money into the features account and leave it there for at least 72 hours, because that's how long the team needs to do checks and balances, and then they will airdrop the money into your features account. If there's no money in your features account, you're most likely not going to get any money to trade with. Okay, so some people are not getting the bonuses because they're not following the rules. Right, cool, legends. That is it on ETH. I'm not going to spend a little more time on it. The next one I'm accumulating is ICP. It looks sexy. I send ICP. I send my technical analysis on ICP to Andy. Okay, I'll let Andy tell you what he told me in the live stream. Maybe just ask him in his live stream. What did you tell Dewald about ICP? Okay. I send my technical analysis to Andy. So from a simplicity perspective, without going into Elliott wave theory or anything like that, I mean, you have to acknowledge that this is major support. Look at this. Right? And this is where ICP is at the moment. This looks very impulsive to the upside. Look at the volume. It looks very impulsive to the upside. And this looks very three-wavy to the downside. Impulse, 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-wave corrective structure. It screams, buy me. ICP is telling me, buy me. I'm having dreams about ICP. I need to start buying ICP. So I did. Okay. For me, no financial advice, of course. I'm just here to entertain you guys. Okay. Right. This is where I'm buying ICP at the moment. Okay. From a logarithmic perspective, now this is where it becomes even more interesting. Okay. So I'm sharing with you guys what I am buying at the moment. I know that there is a million... Yeah, there's a million other altcoins out there that you are most potentially looking at, that you like the fundamentals, and you're going to ask me here in the live stream, please look at this altcoin, please look at this altcoin. I'm showing you the ones that I am buying because I believe less is more. But you need to at least have enough to diversify your risk. Okay, don't put all of your money into one altcoin, because if that one altcoin goes down the tube, you lose all of your money. You need to have, you need to mitigate your concentration risk. And what do I mean by concentration risk is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, because you might have a project where the CEO steals money, or he dies, or fraud happens in the company, or they get hacked. You know, these things happen in the crypto space. So if you have at least 3, 4, 5 altcoins that you are accumulating and one tanks and it dies, the other 4 will make up for it and recover those losses. Okay, and this is why I recommend that you have at least 3 to 5 altcoins in your portfolio if you do want to have an altcoin portfolio, so that you can diversify your risk and spread out your risk and not have concentration risk. So ICP, from a technical perspective, I love. Okay, it's also tapped when you take it here from the low to the high. Guess where ICP is at a bullish target? It is at massive support at the moment. Well, I don't have a folder here because I just roughly, I mean, guys, if I start switching on my technical analysis, I know I'm dirtying up the kitchen over here. Okay. But I just want to show everyone roughly what I'm looking at from a technical perspective. Okay. So I went and I counted these structures. It also looks very similar to ETH. Okay. WXY here to the downside. And it has tapped the 1-to-1 extension from the WXY, A, B, C. I don't care which 3-wave structure it is, it has hit a very important level on the macro time frame, and these levels becomes even stronger the higher the time frame is. You have to remember. Okay, so it has tapped the 1-to-1. It is finding support. Okay, it's at support, it's at the 786. This is where I love to start accumulating. Okay, so just from a simplicity perspective, remember I do have an exit strategy if these bullish structures gets invalidated, and this is typically something that I look for. The altcoins that I'm picking to start accumulating at the moment still have bullish structures that are intact. Okay, if you are looking at an altcoin that's claimed this low, technically, I think there are way better buys out in the market, because it has to build this structure again in order to get massive momentum to the upside. You need, guys, just from an education perspective, okay, the market moves impulsively in 5 waves, and it corrects in 3 waves, or it moves impulsively down in 5 waves and it corrects up in 3 waves. Okay, but you need just a little bit of education over here, and this is what I look for when I accumulate my altcoins. Okay, you need this to get the biggest wave, the face melting price action. Okay, this is the best wave to be in any coin, any equity, commodity, asset that you are trading. This is the best wave, and if you can get in over here, you basically just have to relax and ride it all the way to the upside. You don't have to do anything. Okay, it's amazing. It's like wiping your ass with silk. Right? Matrix, guys, Matrix. It's not my own. I just love it when the Frenchman says that in Matrix 2. Right, legends, this is the wave, but you need this to get this wave. So from a structural perspective, this is potentially the 1, 2. So I'm looking for that wave, and this is why the tokens that I have chosen is showing me that it could do this. If you have a token that has already taken the low and it doesn't have a 1, 2 because it's taken the low, it needs to build this structure again before you can get that. Do you guys see the thinking that I'm applying to the tokens that I've chosen? Okay, so yes, you can still get this. Dewald was talking shit. Look at 100% to the upside. Well, maybe it would have been 1,000% to the upside if you just chose the correct token. So I'm just showing you what my plan is, my strategy. Okay, I don't want to trade a token that still needs to do this. I want to trade a token that has the potential for this. Okay, or invest in something that has the potential for that. Right, so ICP, you guys know, that's why I'm buying ICP here at the moment, okay? Then, next on the list is Litecoin. Yes, okay, yes. You might be asking yourself, just Dewald, Litecoin, really? That dinosaur token? You really considering buying Litecoin? Yes, I am. OG token, very old, everyone has forgotten about it. It's most probably not going to do anything, but I mean, I cannot ignore the structure that it's in. I need to go to the 3-day chart over here. Okay, it is a very similar structure to XRP. Okay, I spoke about XRP, exactly the same structure when XRP was over here. Well, yeah, when XRP was over here, this is when I started talking again about XRP. Now, Litecoin is in a very interesting place. This reminds me on XRP on the 5th of August. XRP did exactly the same thing on the 5th of August last year. Okay, where you have formed an A, B, C, D, E. I have a clear invalidation with an exit strategy. Okay, and you could now potentially go up here for an explosive move to the upside that no one is going to see coming on Litecoin. No one saw that explosion coming on XRP. It's dead. It's just going sideways. The court cases, if people lost faith in XRP. And then on the 5th of August, I started paying attention. Even a little bit before, when we had this breakout on XRP. It's exactly the same structure. So when I talk about Litecoin, I'm actually talking about XRP as well. The only difference between these two is XRP is, it already had the breakout. Okay, so Litecoin is lagging behind. But it has the same multi-year corrective structure that's now officially lasted more than 268 days. Okay, so I have a clear invalidation. I am accumulating and I'm expecting this. Exactly the same as XRP. Okay, without going into more details. Right, so Litecoin is on my list. Next on my list is Link. I have Link on my list. Believe it or not, I have Link. Need I say more? Okay, Link, slow mover, but when it moves, right? Long consolidation area, just from a simplicity perspective. You had the wick down into the consolidation area, and it did this. Now you have this consolidation area. You had the wick down into the consolidation area. I'm loading up on Link over here. Okay. It's as simple as that. From an Elliott wave perspective, this looks like a 1-2, 1-2, and it's going to create that third wave. Bullish structure is still intact until you take the low. Okay, that is my invalidation. $9.26 is my invalidation. Right, did I go through everything? Let me check. It was ETH, it was Link, it was ICP, it was Litecoin. I feel like I'm missing one. I've got a fifth one that I'm looking at. Why am I? It's ETH, ICP, Link, Litecoin, and there was another one. I need to go and check in the Legends Pro community because I did post it there. Let's go to my section over here. Let me do this. Do this. Okay, I want to show everyone exactly what I'm looking at. Where can my section like to be. ICP Doge. It's Doge. Almost forgot Mr. Doge over here. Okay, Doge, very bullish structure. It's finding support exactly where I wanted to find support. Technicals looks great. Looks like a 1-2, 1-2. The low is so far away. It has so much breathing room. I can't help myself but to start accumulating Doge. Okay, so those are the 5 altcoins that I am currently accumulating. Yes, Doge, you heard me right. I need to have a meme in my portfolio from a diversification perspective, and I chose Doge because of the structure. Looks incredible. Okay, from most of the meme coins, thousands of percents, hundreds of percents to the upside, Doge has been lagging behind, and I think its moment is around the corner. Okay, so Doge is on my list. Okay, no financial advice. This is what I'm accumulating. I need to have a meme coin in my portfolio. From a structural perspective, it looks the best. Some of the other meme coins can still go higher. Of course, every a rising tide is going to raise all the ships. But I'm trying to find the ones that where the bullish structures have not been invalidated. Some of the other tokens like Pepe and I can't remember the Frog coin and the Fart coin and stuff like that, from a technical perspective, they don't look attractive to me because some of them are reaching their maximum targets to the upside. So maybe perhaps while they are correcting, Doge is going to have its moment to shine. I don't know what's going to happen, but technically I like where Doge is at the moment. It has a very bullish structure in a 112 that could potentially have a third wave here to the upside. Even if I ignore the structure, it still has a 1-2. It still has a 1-2 and it's very far from the lows. And I mean, for a structure without Elliott wave theory, to have a low and to have a high and to have a higher low, okay, is good. You have higher highs, you have higher lows. What's the next move? Most probably another higher high. Okay, so technically this is why I'm interested in Doge. Right, legends, and like always, if you'd like to come and trade these, links are down in the description. Also, your way to support the channel, cost you nothing extra, and this is where you get the best sign-up bonuses and lowest trading fees on these exchanges is by using the links down in the description. I have unfortunately run out of time. Yes, I don't even want to look at Maro. I do have Susanna. I do have Maro in my portfolio, and oh god, Mark Dutch, welcome to the live stream. Yes, look at Maro. I don't even want to look at Maro at the moment. I do have Maro in my portfolio. The structure looks terrible. It looks absolutely dismal. Okay, can it pump? Of course, rising tide's going to raise all the ships. I'm just positioning myself in good technical fundamental tokens. Some might argue Doge is not a good fundamental token, but I can guarantee you it's better than 99% of all the other memes out there. Okay. Dewald, we pumping. Are we pumping? Ooh, nice. Nice pump here to the upside. Okay. Don't you think Elon raped the Doge name, Department of Government Efficiency? Mark, I don't care. I absolutely do not care because for me, it's about the technicals. Okay. If I can make money, okay. I mean, Fart coin. Who on earth? Fart coin? Smelly token? It's you think Bitcoin is pumping? You think, Fart coin is doing amazing things here to the upside at the moment, right? Stupid little meme. So I don't care, guys. For me, it's about making money. Okay, that's why we're in trading. We're not married to the tokens. So, Mark, I agree. It's not about what's happening in Dogecoin from a fundamental perspective at the moment and how you feel. I hate XRP with a passion. I hate XRP. Did I make money on XRP? I made a lot of money on XRP because I bought XRP on the 5th of August. Do I like the token? No. Did I make money? Yes. Okay. This is I'm playing the technicals at the end of the day. Whether I love the token or hate the token, I don't care. Right? There is, I must say, guys, there is one token or an ecosystem of tokens that I will not buy purely because I do not necessarily agree with the fundamentals of this person. There's just one. Okay, and I'm not going to spill the beans. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. There's one token. I don't care how sexy the technicals looks. I don't even chart that token. Even if you ask it for here on the live stream, I will not chart it. I do not like that token in the least bit. Okay, I will not buy it. And I know some of you know exactly. Okay, we're getting the pump here through the daily level, guys. We're getting the pump here through the daily level. It's not a rejection just as yet. So would I short? No. Okay, you need to get acceptance back below that level. Hello, Dewald, could you please tell me where the CVD video is on Discord? Can't find it. You will only see the CVD video on Discord if you are a pro member. It's exclusive for the pro community. So if you are a pro member, you can go to the trading tools, and there is my CVD stuff. The video, the template, everything that you need to know about CVD. Right. Let's just refresh CVD over here. Can we still get the rejection? Of course. Of course, we can still get the rejection at the daily level. We are at resistance. Okay. Right. And we have actually tapped the 0.88. 0.88 gang, are you guys in the house? Are you guys in the house? 0.88 gang? Okay, now that you have tapped the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of taking the high. But now remember, okay, B waves, they also love 0.88 levels. So you could have an A, B, C. Okay, but you have still increased the probability of taking this high. So if you bounce in the zone, you know, you're going to go take out the high if this is a larger ABC to the downside. A B wave can also create a flat that takes the high and still creates the C wave to the downside. So it's just about paying attention to each level. Okay, but I mean, it has tapped, and I'm sure some of the pro community members have sniped the 0.88 over here. Okay, because you can sniper that 0.88, have your stop slightly above. When you move into profits, you protect your position. Now you have a free trade. That's a beauty. Even if it comes back up and it stops you out, you get stopped out with no money. If it gets acceptance back below, you re-enter because we're persistent like that. Okay, with good risk management. Pie, please. Pie, please. Unfortunately, legends, I have run out of time. Okay, unfortunately, I've run out of time, but I will, maybe I will do another live stream a little bit later. Okay, I will do another live stream. So, guys, I know that you have all your altcoin requests. What I would prefer is that if you have guys, just one altcoin per person. Don't give me your whole portfolio and expect me to analyze your entire portfolio. If you would like me to do detailed technical analysis on the most important altcoin in your portfolio, post a comment after the live stream inside of the comment section. Okay, I will then go through those altcoins during the weekend. Maybe I'll do a Sunday live stream and I'll go through some of those altcoins. Okay, and because I need to spend some time to go and look at the technicals. Okay, so after this live stream, go and post a comment of that one altcoin that's most important to you, and I will go and do technical analysis on that. Okay, right, legends, thank you so much for joining the live stream, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers for now.